This
Got it.
conference will now be recorded.
Well, Matt, I appreciate the invitation and I appreciate the time, everybody. My name is Mark Livingstone, and I'm the new brand ambassador for the Hometown Heroes program that was just re-rolled out this past March. So a lot of you may have heard about it and participated in it previously. This is a new rollout. There's new specific parameters that I'm going to go over. And again, it's not a lot of information, and I'm not here to get you certified. I'm here to get you interested to get you certified. So to kind of whet your appetite to want to take the certification, okay? So your first question is, well, who am I? And my name is Mark Livingstone. Like I said, I am the brand ambassador for Hometown Heroes as of 1 month ago, where Marco and Josh got together with me and said, hey, we're gonna deputize you as the brand ambassador, because not only are you a division president of Encompass Lending Group, but you're also a firefighter, currently an active firefighter in Rockville, Maryland. Rockville's the second biggest city in the state of Maryland, only behind Baltimore. It's a very urban area. I've been a volunteer firefighter for 25 years, and it is really my passion. The way that Montgomery County works is that the day workers go home at 5 o'clock, and every night at 5 o'clock till 7 o'clock the next morning, 15 volunteers take over the station, and I'm one of them every Monday night, every week, and one weekend shift a month. And so not only that, my company was acquired, my mortgage company was acquired 1.5 years ago by Fathom because of the success we had had with the Hometown Heroes program. So we're going to go into that a little bit. And so I'm a living, breathing example of how this product can help your end game. And so what is Hometown Heroes? Hometown Heroes is a Fathom Holdings brand, okay? Fathom actually owns the copyright for Hometown Heroes. And this program started in 2005 after Hurricane Katrina, when Sean Barron and Bruce Ives, who are currently with Encompass Lending Group, they saw a great need because 20,000 first responders had been relocated to Dallas, Texas in the wake of Hurricane Katrina. And Sean Barron and Bruce Ives put together a project to feed these heroes and their families, to get them housing, to get them supplies, to get them food. And they reached out to the neighborhoods, and they were able to take care of these heroes. And although it wasn't their intention, their business thrived. Their mortgage company, again, just thrived because of what they were doing and the word of mouth that traveled, because Bruce and Sean facilitated this to help all of the first responders. They came up with the idea, they patented it, and then Fathom recruited and acquired Hometown Heroes a few years ago, and it's just been rebranded, and we think it's an excellent arrow in your quiver to help you and your business. So Hometown Heroes, like I said, it just allows you another arrow in your quiver to get more business. Right now with interest rates as high as they are, right now with a lack of inventory, everybody can use an extra shot in the arm, and this Hometown Heroes is it. So Hometown Heroes, you want to use it as a tool. That picture right there is me at a drill using forcible entry tools to prop on a door prop. And so as a firefighter, we have to know our tools, whether it's a fire extinguisher, there's 3 different types of fire extinguishers, whether it's a ladder, an extension ladder, or an attic ladder, whether it's the hydraulic tools, which you all know as the jaws of life. We have to know our tools because every situation that we run is different. Just like every home buyer or home seller that you run into is going to be different. We have to know our tools, and this is another tool to help you. So who are these heroes that I'm talking about? Well, the heroes obviously are first responders. Fire, police, military, teachers, doctors. When I was in Vegas last week, one agent said to me, you know what, really, to sum it up, Mark, it's anyone that receives a government paycheck from a municipal, county, or federal or state government. And I said, yeah, that's absolutely true. Nonprofits even, and people that work for nonprofits. The bookkeeper at the fire department where I volunteer, she actually did her loan because she qualified, because although she wasn't a first responder, she's a bookkeeper. So roughly 25% of the population qualifies to be a hometown hero. So what's in it for the hero? Well, The hero is going to get 20% of the real estate commission coming from you agents. And this is going to go towards their closing costs or down payment or what have you. And then if you elect to use an Encompass Lending Group loan officer, the ELG loan officer is also giving a money back towards the purchase price of up to $1,250. Now that's for loan amounts of $300,000 or more. I was just approached by a West Virginia agent and her purchase price was $50,000. So under $300,000, the benefit from Encompass Lending Group drops to $750. But the thing is one of the first questions I always get is, do we as agents have to use Encompass Lending Group loan officers? No, you do not. We encourage you to maximize the hero's benefit, because again, those loan officers are going to give you up to $1,250 as well as the 20% back that's coming from you agents. Okay. So again, 20% real estate commission, $1,250 from the Hometown Hero loan officer. And then we also have a product where we are giving you leads. Okay. Now, I don't want you to sign up just in anticipation to receive a ton of leads. We are 3 months, 90 days into cultivating these leads. As you most know, Fathom also acquired a call center called Real Results. And what we're doing is we're cultivating and getting these leads of heroes, first responders, military bases, all that, and they are calling. And last month, we had 1,700 leads come in, 10% of which were turned into applications. And so we will give those that are certified, you qualify now for the leads from the Hometown Heroes program, and you're giving up 50% of your commission. 20% of that 50% is going towards the Heroes closing costs, and 30% is going back to the Hometown Heroes program. Now, if it is an organic lead coming from your database, you're giving up 25%. And of that 25, 20% is going to the hero and 5% is going back to Hometown Heroes. There's no monthly fee. There's no cost to sign up. There's nothing like it used to be. This is just how it's working now. And Hometown Heroes has set up 2 funds, the Hero Fund and the Mortgage Miracle. And that's where the 5% and the 30% is going. That's going back to Hometown Heroes. And with those 2 funds, they are helping these heroes. For example, the Hero Fund has already been ear tagged so that they are giving money back to heroes in Hawaii in December to help them pay their mortgages. So it's a win-win for everybody. It's a win-win for the hero, and it's a win-win for you agents. It's a marketing tool that also gives back to the community. My favorite Bible verse is Luke 12:48, to whom much is given, much is required. And let's be honest, we all are, especially living in this country, we've been given a lot, and it feels good, and it is good to give back. And I'm telling you that my company, Cornerstone First, before it was acquired by Fathom, went to when I partnered with the Hometown Heroes program, it just took off because word of mouth traveled about this program where the loan officer and the real estate agent were giving back to the heroes. So this is a photo I throw up here because Nick Medallion is the district director and broker of Maryland, DC, Virginia, Pennsylvania, and Delaware. And Nick was who I partnered with from Fathom back in 2018. And Nick was a career firefighter. He's retired now, but we got together and started marketing to first responders, police, and fire. And every time we did a loan, that extrapolated to at least 3 or 4 referrals from each client. And that's what we're here to tell you is how this works. Okay. It's it's another opportunity for you to go after people where you may not have had an opportunity to get your foot in the door, whether it be a military base, whether it be a hospital, police station, or fire station. And your loan officers at Encompass Lending Group, they will do flyers with your headshot and their headshot with the Hometown Heroes logo, with the co-branding, which then you can take and go in there and get your foot in the door. So again, what I'm trying to do is just get you interested enough that you want to sign up with Jim Reed to do his certification. And it lasts about 30, 40 minutes. He goes over the semantics and the numbers, answers any questions you may have. And then once you've taken his webinar, you are officially certified. You get an email that you're certified, and then you will get leads if there are leads coming into that area. But again, I don't want you to base this all on just getting the leads. I want you to base it on the success that I have had and that others have had just marketing to these heroes, and then word of mouth. It travels. So yeah, that's my presentation. And I am willing to, if anybody's interested after this, I'm willing to send you my email and phone number and get with you one-on-one or however many you like to talk to you about how to market to firefighters specifically, because that's what I do, or any other groups that you might think would be interested in this product. Any questions?
Yeah, I had signed up back in March when we had a presentation before. Did they have the certification process back then, or is this new?
Well, let me ask you this. Was that this March?
Yeah,
Okay, because it just switched over in March. I'm not sure. If you wouldn't mind sending an email to Jim Reed, he would know. Again, this was just rolled out in mid-March. So if you did it in mid-March, you may be with a new platform. When I was in Vegas and did this presentation, that was one of the big questions. And people were talking about how it used to be cost per month, how it used to be a subscription fee, and there's none of that now. So in your, when you signed up in March, did you have any of that?
I just got an email back from them saying that they would set up my site, and I've never heard anything back since that time.
All right, this is Arthur speaking, correct, Arthur?
Yes.
Okay, Arthur, tell you what, can you send me your email and I'll follow up and find out for you. It may have gotten lost in the transition, but I'll find out for you, Arthur, okay?
Okay. Do you want me to put the email in the chat?
Yeah, if you wouldn't mind.
Sure, no problem.
Okay, thank you, Arthur.
Hey,
Any other
Mark,
questions?
we had someone in the chat that asked if we can put your information in there. Do you mind if I put your email in the chat?
No, please do. I appreciate that. You can put in my email and my cell phone number.
Okay, that's the 202 number.
No, that's 240-643-6800. 240-643-6800. And then, yeah, and also it should be in IA, the registration for Jim's class. I know there was a mishap last week and there were a couple days that it was down. So if it's not in there, you can also go to the hometownheroes.com website. And then there is a partner with us tab at the top of the page. So it's hometownheroes.com, partner with us. And that'll get you
I have
the
a
schedule for
question.
Jim's
I
future
had a
class.
question
Yes.
about people.
About what?
Oh,
Inger?
yes. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. What's your question?
So people that have, let's say, served their whole career in one of these areas of endeavor and now they're retired, will they still be eligible?
Absolutely. Yes. So you're a veteran, is that what you're saying?
I'm not talking about myself, but just in general, people, let's say it could be nurses, teachers,
Yes,
firefighters,
absolutely.
that they may be retired from that field and they may be looking to downsize, upside, relocate. So they would be eligible.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Any other questions?
And this can be used with all loan types, right, Mark?
Yes, that is true, especially the VA. And again, you don't have to use an ELG loan officer, but why wouldn't you, to benefit the hero the most, to get the ultimate savings for the hero? And, you know, just a plug for ELG, they have some great products, not just the marketing that they do where they co-brand with you and the loan officer, but they also have the date the rate, marry the home, where if they buy a home now and you use an Encompass Lending Group loan officer, they'll give you a certificate. They'll give your buyer a certificate so that they can refinance with no lender costs down the road when we know rates are going to drop down to 5, 6, or whatever they drop to, for no lender fees. That's outstanding. They have a bunch of benefits like that they have gone, Sean's been in the business forever, Sean Barron, the founder of the Hometown Hero product, and he's been in the business for a long time, and he knows what these buyers want. He works hand in hand with you agents and DDs to find out what it is out there that's going to benefit your home buyers the most. So if you haven't used them, I strongly encourage you to check out Encompass Lending Group. In fact, we have Parrish on the line now, who is a loan officer with Encompass Lending Group. So, well, thank you all very much. Arthur, I'll get back in touch with you. And if anybody has any questions, please feel free to reach out.
I have a question.
Yeah, there's one other individual in the chat who mentioned that he did not receive any follow-up. Sirhan Chow, you can see his email address in there.
Okay, I just opened the chat. I apologize. Okay, I have to drop early. I'm interested. Okay, so I'm going to put, okay, there's my information. Art. Okay. All right, so I'll follow up with Jim, but I encourage you also, Jim Reed can be reached if you want to reach out to him. When we were in Vegas, we took all the business cards and sent everybody that attended our certification class an email that showed that they were certified. And again, that will get you on the list for leads if there are leads in your district. There's no cost for registration or any, yes, the certification is what I'm referring to now with Jim Reed. And there's Realtor and McGill.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
I have a spouse who is actually a City of Raleigh employee, and I would love to be able to find a way to utilize this program to tell other City of Raleigh employees about it, including firefighters, police, etc. How would I go about doing that?
Go about finding out about the marketing?
Yes. How to grow that, because I know that my husband wasn't aware of this, so
Okay.
I don't know that other employees are.
Well, what I would tell you to do is get with Parrish Register, who's on the call right now, and he has access to the co-branding marketing, and it has the logos for the Hometown Heroes. It has it'll have the benefits. It'll talk about who the heroes are, and then you and Parrish would have your headshots on there, and then you could take that to the city employees or to the fire department and hand those out.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Parrish, you want to add anything, buddy?
You got contact information? Yeah, if you put my contact information in the chat, that would be great. Or I can. Let's see. Got it.
Okay. Very good. All right, everybody. Hey, follow up with me if you have any questions. That's what I'm here for. Okay. And it's wonderful to hear and see some of you. And again, if there's anything I can do, let me know.
Awesome. Thank you, Mark. Yeah, the Hometown Heroes is a great opportunity, guys. I mean, if you guys have ever done Brian Buffini training where it's all about forming relationships, this is a great way for you to do that. Typically, you can market yourself to a group of people. So let's just say, you put some information in a teacher's lounge, or as you mentioned, in a fireplace, or in a firehouse, or, the city employees. These folks, if you help one of these customers and they wind up getting the savings and things that are involved in this, they're going to talk about it because they're spending, like, for example, long shifts at the firehouse or a police station or whatever not. So these are folks that if you can get them in a home, if you can help them to their goals, they'll talk. So not only can you present to groups of people, but you can also allow the word to spread quickly, as you go through it and you help these folks and offer them the incentives of the program.
Yeah, everybody knows a hero, right? Everybody knows someone that gets a state or federal paycheck. So we all know several people.
Yep. Absolutely. That's awesome.
Awesome. All right, everybody. Thank you so much.
Have a great day, Mark. Thank you.
You too. Enjoy.
Thank you. All right, so I'm going to take the presenter thing back. So any questions that you guys might have about the Hometown Heroes program, again, contact information is in the chat for both Jim Reed, for Parrish, and for Mark as well. So you can direct any questions over there. I am going to work on sharing my screen. One second here. All right, can everybody see my screen?
Yes.
Excellent. Just get everything working over here. All right, so again, any questions, feel free to hop on and email these folks. Again, Mark Livingstone was his name, email's in the chat. I'm going to go ahead and start this. So the rest of this presentation, I appreciate you guys joining, is basically using the rest of this year to not only finish strong, but to prepare for next year. In years past, we've always done business planning classes, kind of November-ish, things like that. But, being able to start looking ahead at this time is something that can be very helpful to be able to get you guys, rocking and rolling first thing in the spring instead of having that kind of lull period. So today, my hope is to be able to bring some things that you guys might be able to put into your business. Again, at the end of the call, I would love to maybe have a discussion if you guys have any ideas to add on to it, things that have worked for you in the past, things that you might want to try this year, whatever it is. But we all know a lot of realtors, they step back this fourth quarter. You got the holidays involved, people already hit their sales goals. There's so many distractions going on out there. You can have an advantage if you can still keep your processes. Go ahead and make sure that you're still doing your prospecting, you're still hitting your listing appointments and everything like that. So you have an opportunity that, even doing open houses, meeting buyers, whatever not, you have an opportunity to allow yourself with less competition during this quarter to be able to make those connections that can allow you to get to a hot start right here in 2024. I like this saying of how you finish is how you start. So, it's great too. You'll hear me mention throughout this, but habits are something that obviously we can form very quickly. I've always kind of heard 30 days makes a habit. So, if you take December off, you're putting yourself in a situation that you're not off to a hot start in January because you kind of got that habit of kicking back. And so with that, if you can make sure that you can at least, even with all the holidays and distractions and everything that's going on, allow yourself to have those daily processes, keep that workflow going, and then that way, you're not having to overcome a bad habit as you start the year. And when it comes down to this year, we have 103 days left. And so with that, I kind of wanted to go back and take an opportunity, not only look forward, but let's look back. So let's review kind of what you guys have done for 2023. I don't have any cameras on right now, so I can't ask for hands, but just questions that you guys might ask yourself is, did you do a business plan for 2023? And if you have you reviewed that business plan prior to now? So, in a lot of cases, I know if you've been to any of the business planning courses and things that we've done in the past, we always recommend to go through and review these each quarter. That way you can kind of track where you're going, you can track where you need to be, and everything like that, what changes can be made to that business plan to make sure that you can hit the goals. So having that plan in place is awesome, but you also need to set your goals. So what were your 2023 goals and where are we at right now? Are you at 75% of what your sales goal was? If so, then you're right on track and you're doing fine. Are you at 100%? Well, that's awesome. Everything's gravy from now on throughout the rest of the year, but don't step back, as we mentioned before. And if you're not there, then why not? Just go back and review your plan. What is it that you're missing on this? And again, you have 103 days to come through and make 2023 what you expected it to be when you thought about it last year about this time. And then if you did not make a plan or did not set any goals for last year, please do that this year, because we can just find ourselves answering the phone, going and doing appointments, doing this, doing that, not tracking anything, and just kind of figuring out right now, like, oh, what did I sell last year? Well, if you can put everything organized in place and give yourself something to, number one, work toward by having the goal, and then number two, how you're going to work toward it by having that plan, it is something that will keep you on pace, it'll keep you organized, and it actually probably keep your life a little less stressful as you're going through the rigmarole that we do as real estate agents on a daily basis. Certain things we can do to prep for next year would be just to clean up some items. So this time of year, I'm always looking at trying to clean up my database. You know, there's folks that have moved out of town. There's folks that have moved, used different realtors, unfortunately. There's folks that I've just lost touch with. You know, but any type of database that you have right now, go and put everyone on it that you have worked with this year if you haven't done that yet. They need to be added to your database. And then go ahead and do an audit and just make sure that you still are marketing to the people that are at the same addresses that you expect, that you have their up-to-date contact information, you know, and if they moved out of town and there's something that you don't need to be marketing to them as much anymore, you know, go take them off or just put them down or wrong, you know, depending on how it is that you do organize that database. Another thing, just to start the new year, is go ahead and clean up on the workspace or your office. So as you can tell behind me, I probably should clean up my office because there's a lot of clutter back there. But it's just that idea of starting the year fresh. And so you've done all this work to put yourself in a spot of how am I going to crush 2024, but putting yourself in an environment to do so as well can definitely be helpful. Go through your listing and buyer presentations. What needs to be updated? You know, so kind of see what it is. What works best for you when you give these presentations? What maybe can you work on? And then that way you can try to figure out the best way of doing it. Another thing too is how do you present these items? Do you take a listing presentation and do you review it digitally over a computer with someone and you guys are all just sharing a screen all huddled in together? Or is it something that you print them out? You know, if you've never tried doing it on a computer, maybe you try that next year. Or if you've never printed them out and actually reviewed them by flipping pages with folks, maybe that's something that you try as well. I've gotten into the habit of, if I'm giving a listing presentation and going over any marketing, I do like to have mine printed out because I found it's a more tangible thing that I can share with the seller. So I can physically flip those pages. They can point, they can touch those pages, where a lot of times we know that if we have a computer screen, then it's not as easy to be able to do those things. So, you know, maybe just work on revamping these items, you know, keep in there what's working, go ahead and update things that that are not working as much. And then that way you can go ahead and have that fresh start going. And then clean up those bad habits, you know, so whatever it is that you think, if you're not hitting your goals this year, why not? There's probably a bad habit is why. And so with that, just try to figure out what's stopping me from doing things. You know, are you waking up late? You know, are you not making your prospecting calls in the morning? You know, or do you find yourself distracted in the afternoon? Are you working from home and you're doing the dishes in the middle of the day? Whatever these habits are, just try to have that honest conversation with yourself about what it is. And again, if it takes 30 days to fix a habit, now you have 90 or 103 days till the end of the year, but it's a great time to go in there and start practicing so that as you start the new year, you're doing it with good habits and not so much the bad ones. When it comes to marketing, if you had a marketing plan for 2023, go back and do an audit on it. So what worked? What didn't? You know, try to figure out, where did I get my most calls from or my most touches coming from the customers? You know, because whatever it is, you may need to go, you know, twice as hard on that next year if it's working for you. And if there's things that you're putting time and money into that aren't working, we'll address that as well. Just go ahead and pull it out and focus on the things that are working. But this is the easiest way. You know, in real estate, we always, when we're looking at prices of homes and we're looking at any question that any client asks us, we're always looking in the past to be able to get those answers. And that's exactly what we're doing here. We're going to look in the past at last year's marketing plan, if you had one, and we're going to figure out, okay, what's the best way for me to step into 24 with that new marketing plan that we're going to put together. Also put together a marketing calendar. So that way you can keep yourself on task each month on what you're doing. Do you need to have a certain day that you're each week that you're going to do your social media posts so that you can go ahead and schedule them to go out? You know, do you need to have a certain day you're going to send a newsletter out each month to particular clients? You know, what is it that you need to remind yourself to do so that you can stay on track, and go ahead and put that on paper in a calendar and post it somewhere that you can see on a daily basis in your office, or, you know, obviously you can always put them on these phones and have a reminder pop up as well. Prepare your thank yous for any past clients, any sphere of influence, and I should have put referrals on there too. Any referrals that you have received this year should get a thank you here at the end of the year. You know, I believe that, because the more that you let them know that you appreciate them, the more referrals they send your way. Also, anytime that you can touch someone that is sending you business, it's an opportunity to keep you front of mind in case they get or hear those conversations about real estate elsewhere. So go ahead and put together some thank yous for not only the past client, sphere of influence, referrals, but make sure that you're sending people that are looking out for you something to let them know how appreciative you are. Now's not a bad time to start looking at if you're going to do a holiday event. So if you're going to do a past client or a sphere of influence holiday event, now's the time to start planning. You know, so there's certain things you can do. I know some people have Santa Claus come and offer photos for the children and things like that. Some people will do it at a nursery and give out poinsettias and whatever not. Some people will take folks out to dinner and have some hors d'oeuvres and drinks and have a get together. So however it is that you plan on trying to do something to promote your business, but also, again, thank everyone that's looked out for you, go ahead and start putting that in place as well. And then now's a good time to go back and look at your brand. So how is it that you're branding yourself? Are you consistent? And that's in all kinds of manners. You know, an example, most of the things that I have that I pass out to folks or that you see are just going to be black and white. I know that's boring, but hey, guess what? That's me. I'm a black and white type person. So I've got my cards. They match my folders that I give out for presentations. My yard signs, they look the exact same. Things like this. If you're not consistent in your branding, try to see if that's something that you want to get into in 2024. And this also goes to social as well, or digital marketing. You know, anything that you have out there that shows yourself, it should be consistent. Does your social media page look like your website? You know, we had a customizing your website training not too long ago. And, you know, it's a great opportunity for you to go in there and make sure that if I go to your business page on Facebook and I wind up on your website, I'm still familiar because they look the same, whether it's through images, whether it's through your headshot being consistent, whether it's the fonts, whatever it is that you can keep it consistent. But use this time to be able to build and perfect your brand so that you're noticeable moving into the next year. I love this one. Increase prospecting and lead generation. Now's the time. We talked about it. Less competition a lot of times this year. Not many people are prospecting as they're sitting there dealing with the Thanksgiving holidays and the holidays that we have around December and things like that. You know, there's so many distractions that are keeping people from working, or they're comfortable from the year they've had. So use this opportunity to go through and, again, work on those good habits and set aside an hour to 3 hours a day for prospecting. You know, go ahead and call everyone in your sphere of influence. Go ahead and do, you know, any leads that you have from open houses or that you picked up along the way. Make sure that you're touching these folks during this time period. You know, the fourth quarter is a great time to actually buy and sell, believe it or not. And so you can also use this to perfect what you need to do for 2023 if you feel that you're lagging, or you just want to throw a couple more transactions on in there. But the prospecting is going to help. So if you put yourself into the habit of getting into this and connecting with people, that will carry over into 2024 and hopefully grab you a few more transactions by the end of the year. Go ahead and use this time, as we talked about, to install the good habits into your personal and your business day. So, you know, we always wait until the New Year's Day sometimes to make that resolution, but now it's not too early to be able to do it. You know, where do you want to see yourself in the different aspects of life next year? And with that in mind, go ahead and put the good habits in place to be able to make sure that you can meet those personal and the business goals that you're expecting to see next year. Use this time to practice your scripts and your objections. So, you know, each year scripts and objections, they do change based on market. And so with that in mind, there's certain things right now that we can be doing that could handle an objection that could make that buyer off the fence and say, hey, yeah, I want to go ahead and put an offer in on this place. Or that seller that says, maybe I want to wait until, you know, next year in the spring to be able to list my home. Have those objection handlers ready. And so practice those things on a daily basis so that you can go ahead and give the confident answers to folks that they need to see sometimes to make their best decisions. Use trackers to document your prospecting. If you're prospecting, that's awesome. I'm happy to hear it, because a lot of realtors don't. So number one, you're going to give yourself an advantage just by spending that time to lead generate and to connect with people. But if you're able to use trackers to be able to determine, I've connected with this amount of people, I've converted this many appointments, I've converted this many appointments into transactions, you can actually foresee or predict what you think next year is going to be. And so how awesome is it if you can go into a year in a commission-based job and have a solid projection based on your conversion rates that you've seen in the past on what your income's going to be? There's no better comfortable feeling to be able to know, or at least very well project what the income's going to be. So use this opportunity to do it. And I will pull in an example of some of these trackers. Let's see. So I pulled these from the mentor program. So if you guys are not in the mentor program, feel free to shoot me an email or a text and I can go ahead and get these to you. I do know if you're in the RDU Facebook group, there's some forms of these type of trackers. Also, you can also just do a quick Google search, which I did, and saw that there's some free downloads that you can have for those as well. Of course, you can take any of these things and just go ahead and make them, customize them to your business for however you would like. But a daily accountability form, as we're talking about good and bad habits at this time of the year, what a great way to be able to keep yourself accountable with those habits by deciding, did I do these particular items? Weekly planner. Now you can go through. I always tell folks, go 2 weeks and write down everything that you do in those 2 weeks. And then after those 2 weeks, now go ahead and set yourself a schedule for what you plan to do for the next 2 weeks. And that way, what you can do is you can actually narrow this down to where you have a weekly planner that you're going to be able to stay on task at all times. You're going to know what your time you're going to have for appointments. So if somebody says, I want to go look at that house, it won't mess up your day if you have time set aside on a Tuesday or a Thursday afternoon after 3 o'clock to be able to hit all appointments. And as long as you can, keep control of your calendar, you can make your life so much easier by knowing exactly what you have planned and what you're going to be putting onto that calendar that's not on there on a Monday morning. Weekly accountability and business numbers. So here, how many dials did you make? How many people did you talk to? How many open houses did you do? How many doors you knock on? How many business-to-business appointments, face-to-face appointments, et cetera, et cetera. Go through and keep track of all these items, because the dials and the contacts is important. If you're spending an hour prospecting and your goal is to hit 15 people that day, and you know that you have to make 50 phone calls, to be able to do that, well, then now you know what you have to do during that hour. Your time of prospecting becomes so much more efficient. And if you plan ahead by saying, here's the 50 people that I'm going to call tomorrow, then as soon as you step into your hour of prospecting, you hop right into it. You're able to get those calls taken care of. And hopefully those contacts are going to wind up over a time being an average of whatever it is that you are that you have on your trackers. And then you can go through and take that number from how many contacts did I make to how many appointments did I set. And then, so once again, what a great way to project that if I want to hit a sales goal or a transaction goal of whatever it is that you set, and you have accurate numbers on yourself that go past, you can tell yourself exactly what you have to do on a weekly basis to be able to hit those numbers. So keep track of what it is that you're doing when it comes down to work. And then listings taken, listings sold, sales, referrals out, what's your goal? What's your actual? So here's great ways for you to be able to take the work that you're doing on a daily basis and to be able to make sure that you can also fall back on it to check your numbers. So just some examples there, but again, this came from the mentor program. Feel free to email me, text me. I can shoot this to you if you do not have copies of these. Also, like I said, you can find some on Google. You can definitely some in the RDU Masterminds group in the files section, or if you just search for trackers, you'll be able to see a couple options, and they may not look exactly like this, but they'll be pretty close. Another thing that I wanted to kind of go back, and I kind of skipped on this part, when we talked about marketing, we talked about doing an audit. Well, what better way to, when you look at your marketing, to write this down and say, where did my clients come from? So that way you know what you can do to be able to put a magnifying glass on this particular or these particular types of marketing, and then not so much handle the ones otherwise. And as you notice, Hometown Heroes is an option on this one. Social media is an option on this one. Farming, blah, blah, blah. So you've got everything on there. But whatever your biggest percentage of transactions is, then you need to focus on that, see if you can grow it, and then get rid of the ones that aren't. Use this time to call or text any of the lost leads that you have from 2023. If you've done open houses, you connected with folks, and then all of a sudden you haven't heard from them in a minute, why not reach back out to them? Hey, you and I met back in July. You had a goal of purchasing a home. I'm here to help. There's 103 days left in the year. Let's go ahead and get you in that home. They'll tell you if they're still excited about it. They'll tell you if they had to take a stand back, whatever not. But if that was their true goal and you were able to connect, you need to definitely reach back out to them. And if you do it by text, that's great too, right? But I'm a big fan of the calling, just so that you can have that conversation with them, and you can just hear, any type of, what's in their voice. You can kind of make sure that is it something that they're here or not. But if you need to go through and just shoot that text, no big deal. Hey, we got 3 months left in the year. If you had a goal of purchasing a home, I'm here ready to help. Let's go look at it. And then address any holiday objections as well. We talked about objections up top, but some people think that the holidays isn't a great time to list their home. Well, I mean, I kind of feel like it is, to be honest with you. I mean, we know that it's a little bit slower, but if we take the tools that we have, which I'm a big fan of InfoSparks, so I hope that you guys can see that. But if we look, inventory goes down this time of year, which means if you're a listing, typically that means that you're going to have less competition to be able to sell that home. And that's 2021, 2022, it did the same. And then in 2023, we're kind of on this little rise, but based on the past, it seems that we should be coming down on inventory, which means that it's not a terrible time to list your home. Also, it's not a terrible time to list your home because if you're decorated for the holidays, now Halloween, depending if it's one of those tacky Halloweens or not, or they're the haunted house, maybe you don't want to take photos of that. But once someone starts putting up holiday decorations for the Christmas time or whatever it is, a lot of times these homes look great when they're photoed. And so it's something that can hop off the page and something that can get a buyer excited and get them over there. And again, you'll have less competition than some of the others. Another thing when it comes down to the buyers, is it a great time for them to buy? Well, if you come and look on days on market, typically as we get into this time of year, the fourth quarter, the days on market tend to rise. And so is it a good time? I would say yeah, because now you might be able to get that lower due diligence. You might be able to negotiate those closing costs. You might be able to take it off the price, whatever it is. So now's a great time to buy. So again, those lost leads, make sure that you're connecting with them and just let them know, share these stats with them and just let them know, hey, in the past, it's shown that when you're buying a home, it may be the time to get a deal as we step into the fourth quarter of the year. Now, we talked about doing an hour to 3 hours a day of prospecting, and I'm a firm believer that every agent should be doing that no matter what. But when you're doing your prospecting, always be prospecting for listings. Buyers are great, but buyers are going to come. Remember, list to last. Listings allow us the ability to put our sign in a yard. They allow us to put our names and our properties on social media. We're seen on Zillow, we're seen on Realtor, everything like that. So, your marketing, even if it's directed towards a particular property, it can draw buyers. So if you take your time to get these listings, the buyers will come. So if you don't farm your neighborhood at this point in time, now's a great time to do it. Shoot some postcards out to them. Mark mentioned when he got on this call about how beautiful the weather is outside. And yeah, as I'm looking out these windows right here, I kind of wish I was out there, but everyone is. So on a Saturday, you're looking at people outside working in their yard, doing these things that if you mail postcards to them and then you go walk your neighborhood, take the dog for a walk, take the family for a walk, just go on one on your own, say hello to these neighbors. If they've seen your photo through multiple postcards that come through on a consistent basis, they're going to recognize you immediately. You may not even have to talk about real estate, but more talk about them. But in doing so, you're making yourself familiar that you could be the one that they call when they're ready. And it's always a beautiful thing in your neighborhood to be the first one to know a sign's going up and not the last. And so farming is something, if you're not doing that, now's the perfect time to do it so that you can go ahead and get the listings either by the end of the year or hopefully first half of next year. Reach out to any of your past clients. It's a weird time to be mobile right now. We know that. We do know that if you refinance your house in the last few years, you're probably sitting at a 2 or 3% interest rate. And hang on, my computer's about to die. You're probably sitting at a solid interest rate, and it makes it very tough to move. However, that doesn't mean that we don't reach out to them because life happens. There's still people that are buying and selling right now. And so stay in touch with our past clients. No matter what we think the market's doing doesn't mean that their needs are any different. So use this time to reach out to them as well, whether it be by phone call or whether it be by sending them those holiday cards or whatever it is that you need. Set up campaigns through IntelliAgent and marketing updates. So again, InfoSparks, we've got all that information right there for us. It's as quick and easy as pressing a button and we can send this out to, hundreds of people. So all you have to do is take that time. If you're not busy in Q4, this is the time to do our admin work and to be able to make it so that we can be. So take this time to organize your database. Take that time to organize your CRM, set up the campaigns that you think that are well needed so that people are getting the marketing updates that they need. If you helped a person buy a house in the last 5 years, start shooting them on a monthly basis what's going on around their neighborhood or in their zip code or whatever not, so that they can see, that it may not be a terrible time for them to put, to be able to make a move in case that's something they have in the back of their head. And then expired listings and FSBOs. When it comes down to it, if we look on days on market are increasing, That means that if we project that they're going to increase the second half of the year, that means we should keep our eyes on the expired listings. Now, I know that there's a lot of agents that do it, so put together a program that is going to give you the best opportunity to be able to take these expired listings, go ahead and be the new agent, go ahead and get them to their goal of selling the home. I'll tell you right now, an expired listing is probably, when it comes down to having the negotiation with the seller of what the price would be, what condition needs to be, things like this, they've already been through it. They're ready to sell their house. It's typical. They'll listen to a lot of times exactly what you say and what you suggest. And you've got the ability to ask them what their feedback is and what's holding them back. You can go and look at what the other agent that had it listed, how they're displaying the home, how they're pricing the home. You're the one also that can try to figure out why is it not selling, and then typically the seller's on board to be able to go with the game plan that you can put into place. And then I just had this, that's Info Sparks right there. So that's exactly what we were just looking at with the days on market. So as I mentioned, that we're prospecting for sellers, but at the same time, we've got to hit both sides of them of the business. We know that buyers help us sell listings, and listings help us work with buyers. I'm a big fan of that. So continue to do your open houses and do them hard. People are going to be in town for the holidays, and if they're in town in the holidays and maybe they have interest in moving to this area, then by all means, you need to know that. And so sitting in those open houses is something that could bring you those leads that can give you that quick transaction or quick transactions starting the year next year in 2024. If you set your goals and you get ahead of them very early, it's a wonderful feeling to have instead of playing catch up this time of year next year. So go ahead and start lead generate, making those relationships through open houses. We just talked about Hometown Heroes. Once again, put campaigns together in your CRM for those future prospects. Hey, I'm 6 months out. Have a 6 month out buyer to where you're touching them every other week. And then as you get, closer to what they thought their goal was, make it so it comes down to once a week at that point in time, whether it's through email, text, phone call, whatever not. So make sure that you're doing that. Align with out-of-town agents for referrals. This is something that can definitely help you with your business. I went ahead and just did a quick little Google search earlier, and we talked about this at our awards day 2 years ago. But where are the people moving from? I mean, we're such a destination that where are they coming from? Well, they're coming from Florida, New York, Virginia, South Carolina, California. Here's a map right here. Do your research, find out where people are coming from, and see if you can align yourself with some realtors there so that you can get referrals. And if that's the case, I would gladly kick a referral fee to someone that's going to consistently send me some folks that we know numbers are showing are moving to our area. So keep that as part of your things to do here in Q4, make those relationships. Just a reminder, we just had that Fathom Summit out in Vegas. It was awesome. We're going to do it again, but it's a great way for you to meet these agents from other states and make personal connections and be able to keep that referral source going. And if not, pick up the phone, go to the Fathom website. You can go, if you go to fathomrealty.com, you can look up agents in certain areas, see one that you like, go ahead and give them a call, let them know, hey, guess what? I'm in the RDU area. I'm just curious, if you have anyone that's moving, just send them to me, give me a call. We can definitely discuss what their needs are, whatever not, just send me one. I know you'll feel comfortable in sending me the rest. And so go ahead and make those relationships and make those promises that you'll do the same if you meet folks that are moving to their areas. Confirm whether you want to hire a lead service or any online leads. So again, I believe that when you prospect and lead generate, you need to lead generate for sellers and the buyers come. But at the same time, we all know that there's other ways that you can go ahead and get together with folks. If this is in your marketing plan, marketing budget, whatever not, now's the time to go ahead and start getting those leads. You're going to go ahead and start putting the good habits of prospecting together. And so if you're going to spend that time to prospect, go ahead and start having the leads come in so that you're not only working with the folks that you have, but you're also growing the database that you can go ahead and make sure that you can make your numbers as big as possible to give you the ability to close the deals that you need to next year. And then go ahead and talk to a lender. We just had Parrish Register on the call. Call Parrish, email Parrish, ask them what do you think projections on rates and things like that might be. If I'm gonna meet you real quick, Tracy. How you doing? But go ahead and reach out to your lender. If it's Parrish Register, I know he'll be able to help you with statistics and projections and things they think that that rates might be doing over the next few years, because that's going to be a common conversation that we're going to have. You know, if you have a lender that you work comfortably with, you know, talk to multiple ones anyways to get multiple opinions. You know, because again, when we make these projections or when they make these projections, there's no crystal ball. So they're just calling these things from what they're seeing or from the past and whatever not. But having multiple opinions on what's going on will help your conversation that you have with your buyers. Also, you know, if you've been sending a particular lender a lot of deals over the past few years, well, see if they'll help you out with your marketing budget. A lot of lenders are willing to do that. All you have to do is just ask. And as long as you're consistently sending them business and, you know, it's a rate of return situation, as long as they're getting the return that they're looking for, then I'm sure that in a lot of cases that lender that you're loyal to would be more than happy to help you out with your marketing. And then just a few miscellaneous items. You know, if you're not busy at this point in time, we've talked about organizing life, organizing business, do all that stuff, but go ahead and knock out the education that we need to do. Do your continuing education right now. We always know if you wait till May, my hope is that May is one of my biggest months, or April is one of my biggest months. And so if I haven't done my CEs by then, I'm going to be pretty stressed out when I have to sit there for 4 hours or 8 hours all in one day and being able to get this stuff done. But, you know, if you can make time now to do it, number one, those general updates are set for this year from July 1 until July 1 of 2024. So if you're taking it in May, guess what? You're learning old information. It's probably not a bad thing to get ahead on that, but also just for time and for stress. If you have the time to do it, let's go ahead and set those up. Do your post licensing as well. If you haven't done it, if you're still provisional, keep in mind you've got 90 days here at Fathom to be able to get that done. So what a great opportunity to do it. We've got 103 days left in the year. And then if you had any certifications that you wanted to get, go to the Realtor Association website, see what's available, and take that time now to be able to get those certifications, because as you're ramping up your marketing for next year, what a great opportunity to be able to throw in, hey, guess what? I'm certified for this. I'm certified for, you know, for whatever it is. So if you're going to earn those certifications and you're going to update your marketing, it's great to be able to put together all in one spot at the same time. Increase your reviews from past clients. If you have some deals and someone has not given you any reviews, go ahead and get some. If you're looking at any reviews that you've ever had, no matter where it comes from, whether it's on Zillow, whether it's on Google, whether you're using you know, the service that we have here at Fathom, if you have old reviews, get some up-to-date reviews. You know, keep in mind, and I can only assume that you guys, well, I just tell you what I do. I can't assume we. But if I want to go to a restaurant, I'm checking the reviews first. That's what I'm doing every single time. And guess what people are doing is they want to work with us. They're checking our reviews. How was it working with Matt? And if they see things that are awesome, that's perfect. But if they see things from 2021 and nothing since, they may think I'm even out of the business. Who knows? So make sure that you're keeping these as up to date as possible. Also, another idea is if you wind up reaching out to these folks and getting some good reviews, we talked about touching past clients, sphere of influence, whatever not, but if you put together a letter and a flyer and just say, hey, guess what? I'm here working this fourth quarter of the year. If you know anyone that has real estate goals, please feel free to reach out to me because I am working. And then throw some of these new reviews that you got in there as well so that you're putting them in front of the folks so that they're able to now have a little bit of background on you as well and confidence to reach out. Read any books that you might have. You know, put together a book list for 2024. Start reading them now. You know, one thing that kind of triggered me to be able to do this Q4 conversation was this book right here, The 12-Week Year. I know if you guys, anyone that knows me knows I talk about this book all the time. But as we talk about setting sales goals for 2024, putting together marketing plans, doing all these things, you know, if we do that January 1 or prior to, a lot of times people don't look at these annual goals until this time next year or until December when they're like, I still have to sell $1.3 million of real estate this month to be able to hit my sales goal. But if you're able to now go through and take an annual goal, break it down into 4 quarters, and now review that every single quarter, it is a great way to make sure that you're on top of your business, great way to make sure that you're making any adjustments that are needed due to market, due to anything that you're involved in. And so make sure, read this book if you want to, but it's a great one to be able to make sure that you're consistently giving your business an audit throughout the year. Listen to podcasts, you know, quick Google on best real estate podcast out there. Some of them are funny, some are informative, you know, whatever it is, but make that part of your day as you're taking that walk or working out or, you know, going to bed or whatever it is that that you take the time to be able to listen to these items. Do your David Knox trainings. You know, those are free. We have them. And so might as well use that as a resource. So go through and just kind of perfect those listing presentations. If you have a goal of getting 12 more listings next year than you did this year, well, take that time to train yourself, to feel comfortable, to feel confident, and that confidence will exude. But if you take these trainings, if you hear these items, then you put them into place, I promise you, your numbers will go up as long as you are doing the prospecting and everything involved to being able to meet it. Work with a coach or accountability partner. So if your numbers aren't where they need to be, and when I say need to be, you're the one that decides if they're where they need to be. But if you find yourself short on something, find an accountability partner. We've got tons of people here at Fathom that would love to be able to help. And we try our best to get you guys in person so that you guys can connect. And in doing so, one of the benefits is that you guys can gain trust of each other and hold each other accountable through your business. Or go ahead and hire a coach. There's plenty of them out there. Sometimes that can be a little expensive, but if you're putting your money into your business and investing in yourself, typically that's something that may give you that push that you need if you're not the one that's hitting the goals that you set for yourself. On a yearly basis, I review DISC personalities. I know I do it just because of me. And I'll tell you, from 2007 to where I'm at now, when I started doing all these things, I have changed completely when it comes down to that personality. My daughter says I have no emotions anymore. But anyways, I will tell you that this is a great way for you to review yourself, because if you can learn about yourself, kind of see how you've changed, whatever not. But I love that when they give these descriptions, this is exactly descriptions of the types of people that we're talking to on a daily basis when we're doing our prospecting, when we're hitting our appointments, when we're doing everything else. And I know for a fact I can go into a listing presentation with a D personality with a black and white spreadsheet and tell them exactly what the numbers are. We should price here, and guess what? I'm out of here in 45 minutes. Boom, I'll see you for photos. But if it's a C personality and I do that, I'm not getting that listing. So I need to be able to recognize that when I'm on the phone with them, setting the appointment, to then know I have to show up with that listing presentation that we talked about. I have to go over the 40 pages that are in there, or whatever, however long it is, or do I drop it off beforehand? But depending on that type of personality, if I can go ahead and make sure that I am addressing them in the way that they absorb the information best, that gives me the best opportunity to be able to get that listing, work with that buyer, and increase my numbers next year. So go ahead and do a DISC personality on yourself, and then just review those characteristics of each one so that you also know who you're talking to, who you're working with, and everything else.
Hey, Matt, just to back up a little bit, Fathom still has a deal with the third-party coaching program, $90 a month for 2 calls with a coach. So that's something that folks could look at. That's pretty inexpensive.
Yep, that is a great one. You can find all that in Wiki. But yeah, no, that's, and again, investing with that coach is something that might be able to push you to get to where you need to go. Thanks, Craig. This time of year, agents might be looking to make a move. So if you're out there interacting with any agents, whether it be at a holiday party, whether it be through transactions, whatever not, keep in mind the Cap for Life and the Free for Life program. So not only next year, I want you to be able to hit any income goals that you want to set for yourself, but at the same time, if you can save yourself money, 4 referrals of people that have done 2 transactions in the last 12 months allows you to drop $400 off of your first 15 transactions a year. That's good money. And then, of course, if you did that 8 times, then that means that you're not paying your brokers anything here at Fathom. And so with that in mind, it allows you an opportunity to not have the expenses that you typically would have. And if you grow your income as well, puts you in a beautiful position. And any training topics that you guys might have, Aaron, Craig, and I are here. Our goal is to be able to make sure that you guys have anything and everything that you need. So if you have topics that you would love to be able to train on, if we can't do it, we'll find someone that can. But we need to know what's in your head. So please feel free to reach out to us. I'd love to be able to put together things that are informative, things that are going to be able to make sure that you feel most confident while you're out there in your real estate business. And once again, I just put this slide in here, so how you finish is how you start. So don't take December off. I don't care if you, sit back a little bit, do whatever, but you've got to do the things that you need to do to be able to increase your business. So no matter what, take the 1 to 3 hours a day and prospect. Maybe you're not showing properties during that time period. You can have an afternoon to decorate the house or Christmas tree or whatever it is, but you need to still do your prospecting, because if you don't and you sit back in December, it's very tough to get back on track as you start in January. But if you can do this and finish this last quarter with your prospecting, the leads that you're going to have that are going to be ready to pull the trigger, they're going to be either by the end of this year or they're going to be early spring, because averages say that from first point of contact to a closing, the average is 90 days. so that at 103 days left in the year, now's the time to get out and make sure that you're increasing the connections that you can make so that you can have the 2024 that you intend to have. So, but that's what I have for you guys today. Any questions, any feedback, anything, any ideas of things that you've done in the past to be able to make sure that you can jumpstart the year? Anyone still there?
I'm still here, Matt.
Well, perfect. Well, we got a couple things, at least in the chat here. Let me see. Tybalt, I'll go ahead and send those to you, no problem. I may just upload them in the transaction. That might be the best way to do it. So I'll do the trackers there. And then I'll do that, the piece of that business plan that kind of shows where's your business come from. Let's see. Michelle, information for the mentor program. Are you looking to become a mentor, or are you looking for the what I shared?
What you shared about the coaching.
Okay, yeah, I'll upload it in the thing so that you'll see it. But this does bring up a great topic too when you're talking about your business next year. If you have the experience and you've sold over 30 homes, then reach out to your DD about possibly becoming a mentor. We've got a bunch of awesome ones here in the area, but we have a lot of new agents that are coming in, and so sometimes we're filling up the mentors that we have. So we're always willing to have conversations about new ones as well. So that can be one thing that, number one, brings extra income, as you do receive a portion of the first 3 deals that a mentee closes when they're in the or when they join Fathom. But also, my favorite thing when I first became a mentor was that, you know what, if I have to go through and train people on how to grow a real estate business, it reminded me of the grassroots things that I should be doing. And so it helped me increase as well as I became a mentor. So if you are interested in doing that, reach out to your district director, and we can definitely point you in the direction of how to get that done.
Yeah, guys, there's been some questions about how to find information about the mentor program, about the coaching program. Well, the answer to most questions like that is Fathom Wiki. Just go on the Fathom Wiki and start searching, and you'll find all that information.
Yep. But again, I'll upload the trackers in the event page. Cool. Any other questions?